Hello, I'm Bill Serban, Director of the Center for Advancing Teaching and Learning at the University of Wisconsin-La Crosse. This presentation explores ways to improve students' academic performance by using brief social psychological interventions. In this series, I examine three interventions: values affirmation, social belonging, and causal attributions. These are brief exercises that target students' thoughts, feelings, and beliefs in and about school, but do not teach academic content. They are intended to help students deal with common psychological barriers that undermine achievement. As you will see, these brief interventions can have a big effect on short and long-term academic achievement. This is part 2 of the series that focuses on social belonging. Social belonging interventions focus on how students think about whether they fit in, are accepted, and belong in college. Researchers at Stanford University studied 92 second-semester freshmen, 49 of whom were African American and 43 were European American. They used a 1-hour, 3-part intervention with students who were in the second semester of their freshman year. In the first part of the intervention, students were asked to help interpret the results of a survey about the transition to college. The survey results emphasized that most upper year students of all ethnicities worried about their social belonging at first in college, but that these concerns dissipated with time and that eventually almost all students came to feel at home. In addition to the quantitative results, the survey included narratives written by students about their personal experiences. These too focused on how, as freshmen, students felt different, intimidated, and concerned about whether they fit in, but that gradually their confidence increased, they established friendships, adapted to the academic work, and felt accepted. In the second part of the intervention, students were asked to write a short essay about their own college experiences and to incorporate examples similar to the ones they had read about in the survey. And then third, students were asked to record their essays. The recordings would be used with future incoming classes of students to help them understand what it is like to make the transition to college through the eyes of actual students. Researchers measured the effectiveness of the intervention by looking at students' grades, their class standing, as well as several health and well-being indicators. What they found was, first, African American students in the intervention group earned higher grades sophomore through senior year. Grades of African American students in the control group did not increase over 3 years. Second, the achievement gap, as measured by GPA between African American students in the intervention condition and European American classmates, was cut by 52% by senior year. Third, the intervention tripled the percentage of African American students in the top 25% of their class. And fourth, 3 years after the intervention, students completed surveys to assess long-term effects on their sense of well-being and health. African Americans in the intervention condition reported being happier, healthier, and actually had fewer doctor visits. Why does the social belonging intervention improve performance? The intervention is intended to change the way students think about negative experiences and adversity. All students have stressful and negative experiences during their first year in college. These everyday events include such things as not doing well on a course assignment, being ignored by classmates, getting negative feedback from a teacher, feeling lonely and isolated, and so on. These are unpleasant for anyone who experiences them. But what matters is how students construe these events, whether they see them as evidence that they are different, do not fit in, or belong at school, or whether they see them simply as common and temporary challenges that everyone experiences in a new environment. Students may be inclined to interpret negative events as indicators that they don't belong, and this may be strongest for students from underrepresented groups, such as first-generation college students, low-income students, African Americans, and non-English language speakers. The social belonging intervention engages students in thinking about negative events differently, as natural occurrences in a new an unfamiliar environment. Moreover, students personalize the interpretation by writing about their own experiences and then publicly explaining it to future students. Feelings of belonging can buttress students against negative events and allow them to work their way through the new challenges in the college environment. Conversely, students who feel like they do not fit in or belong are more likely to disengage or withdraw, reducing motivation and performance. These research findings are exciting. Easy-to-use interventions can have a strong positive effect on students' immediate and long-term academic achievement. The social belonging intervention is a tool educators can use to help students early in their academic experiences as they are beginning to adapt to the new challenges of academic and social life in college. This intervention is likely to be most effective with students who are at risk for believing that they actually don't belong or fit in to the college experience. I would urge you to refer to the original research and examine the procedures carefully. Despite their simplicity, the procedures have been carefully designed. Be careful to follow the research-based protocol, or you may inadvertently undermine its effectiveness. That said, let me conclude with a few general comments about using social belonging interventions in academic settings. One of the key strategies is the saying is believing effect. That is, by generating and advocating a persuasive message to a receptive audience, students may actually change their own mind about how they construe events. Another point is that although there's been quite a bit of successful research on social belonging, we don't know how well the intervention may work in different contexts. Think of your initial efforts as trying to replicate the social belonging studies with students in your context. Attend carefully to how your students respond to the experience. Your initial experience can lead you to modify the procedures and make them more appropriate for your situation. And two final concerns. The social belonging intervention is not likely to be effective in an overtly hostile environment. If the dominant message to students is that they are not wanted and do not belong, a social belonging intervention is the wrong solution. And finally, a social belonging intervention does not trump bad instruction. It won't enable students to overcome the negative effects of bad teaching. If you would like access to the references cited in this presentation, as well as additional print and multimedia references related to social belonging, go to the Exploring How Students Learn website shown on the screen.